the time an entitled mom tried to reserve my cat for her kid's birthday. So, I, 18F, have a very fluffy, very adorable cat named Machi. He's basically my little buddy, and he's got one of those Instagram accounts where I post his funny antics, so a lot of people in my neighborhood know about him. Including this one mom I'll call EM, who has a 6-year-old daughter super into cats. No biggie, right? One day, EM messages me on Instagram, saying her daughter is absolutely obsessed with Machi and asking if I could bring him to her daughter's birthday party the following weekend so the kids can play with him. I politely decline, explaining that Machi doesn't do well in new environments and would likely hide or freak out around loud kids. EM's response? Well, can you loan him to us for the day? Yes, she literally wanted me to just hand over my cat as if he were a library book or something. She promised they'd take good care of him, and even offered to pay me $20 for the inconvenience. I politely refuse again, saying that Machi isn't up for loan, and I don't think it would be safe or comfortable for him. EM immediately switches tactics, calling me selfish and accusing me of gatekeeping joy from her daughter. She rants about how it's just one day, and I owe it to the community because I flaunt Machi's photos online. Now I'm getting irritated. I tell her that my cat isn't an accessory, and he's definitely not something I owe to the neighborhood. I assume that's the end of it, until the day of the party. I'm in my apartment when I hear a loud knock at my door. It's EM and her daughter, with the girl holding a sparkly cat carrier. EM smiles and says, "Oh, we came to pick up Machi." She acts as if we had agreed on this and just expected me to hand him over on demand. Completely stunned, I tell her, I never agreed to this, and I'm not giving you my cat. EM's smile drops instantly, and she launches into this loud, dramatic rant about how I'm ruining her daughter's special day, and that I shouldn't show off my cat if I don't want to share. Her daughter starts tearing up, and EM gives me this accusing look, like I've just broken her kid's heart on purpose. My neighbor down the hall actually poked her head out to see what was going on, which was enough for EM to grab her daughter and storm off, yelling, "I'll make sure everyone knows how selfish you are." Later, I found out from mutual friends that she spread a story around the neighborhood that I baited her daughter with Machi, only to withhold him out of spite. No one really believed her, but she still gives me the dirtiest looks anytime I pass her. Machi? Completely oblivious and unbothered, living his best life as usual. Edit: the cat has passed away, sorry, don't ask for cat tax, out of respect. I do love my late cat and I wanted to relive an old memory, so that's why I'm writing this.
Alright, let's dive into the next story and see what else Reddit has in store for us.
My sister thinks it's okay to bring her kids to my house unannounced and let them trash the place. I love my sister and her kids, but lately, she's been showing up at my house without warning, expecting me to entertain her 2 young kids, ages 5 and 7. At first, I didn't mind too much, family time is important, right? But it's gotten out of hand. Just last week, she dropped by with the kids while I was in the middle of working from home. She didn't even knock, she just walked in. I tried to explain that I needed to focus on my work, but she shrugged it off and said, "They'll be fine. Just let them play." By the time they left, my living room looked like a tornado hit it. There were toys everywhere, snacks spilled on the floor, and a crayon masterpiece on my walls that I'm still trying to scrub off. I told her I wasn't comfortable with them coming over without giving me a heads up and asked if she could at least call first in the future. She got defensive, saying I was being too uptight and that kids are just being kids. Now I'm feeling guilty for wanting to set boundaries. How do you handle a situation like this without coming off as the bad guy? Edit: thanks for the insight, guys, I'll take note of your advices. It's sad to see that a lot of people have also experienced similar situation to mine.
If you thought that was crazy, wait until you hear this next one.
Mine dad ignored our birthday, so we ignored his. My parents were getting older and expressed their desire for continuing to live in their home. My brothers and I decided to pool money together and make elder-friendly modifications to their home to make that possible. During the planning and saving up, my husband took measurements of the bathroom to be able to make a better calculation of costs. And that's when my parents lost it. They accused him of trying to steal their house from them and said he is only wanting the measurements for an advertisement to sell their home. Had this been the first time my parents came up with some BS, I would have been concerned. But it wasn't. So I simply said, "Stop being ridiculous." They got up in flames and started insulting my husband. Calling him a thief, a liar, a burglar, somehow measuring the bathroom is the same as violent robbery, and so on. So I told them they can cut their crap or I am out and they are on their own. They told me that I am pathetic, useless, fat, stupid, a whore, yada yada yada. Also not the first time. To be honest, I did not get angry because it's just how they are. But I stopped calling them or helping them. When the birthdays of me and my family rolled around, my parents didn't write a message and didn't gratulate. They told my brothers I am dead to them and that liar I married can drop dead, too. Then my middle child school started school. My daughter wrote and sent them a card she made to invite them. They decided to not come and did not call her or send a card or anything like that. They ignored her and she was hurt by it. So when my father's birthday rolled around, we also did not call and did not send a gift. I asked my kids if they want to make a recording and sing happy birthday or something and they declined. Telling me their grandparents never call or send anything and now they also do not want to call or send anything. Which is fine by me. But I do have some common courtesy, so I wrote my dad, "Happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful day and a delicious cake. Best regards." My dad replied, "Funny. It was a horrible day. None of you ungrateful kids came by to visit, nobody called me, nobody sent gifts. I am deeply ashamed of my so-called kids and wished I never had any at all. From now on I will stop celebrating as my life is worthless to you and you bring me nothing but pain and shame. I know this game. I am supposed to feel horrible and cheer him up and beg for forgiveness and so on. But somewhere along the way I lost my ability to care. I am simply unbothered by him. So I replied, "Hey Dad, you should try out lavender tea or take a walk. This might help with your mood swings." According to my brother, he is on full mode rage, which made me giggle, laughing face.
Alright, let's dive into the next story and see what else Reddit has in store for us.
Parents announced they're ruining the 5th B-Day and Christmas in a row. I may be positing this in the wrong sub. My apologies. Also, I'm going to be venting a little bit, so I'll leave a TLDR at the bottom. Basically, having a birthday near Christmas sucks. Please don't conceive in March. Disclaimer: this is a throwaway account I use when life sucks or something is bothering me. Something is bothering me. Context: my birthday is December 28th and my parents have consistently ignored it throughout my life. We usually visit family that lives 4 hours away during the holidays or, more often than not, the weekend after the holidays if the holiday is in the middle of the week. This means almost every year, we are up there on the 28th. Sometimes it's not so bad, because the 28th is a Friday or a Sunday and we do the Christmas celebration on Saturday, but even then it still goes completely uncelebrated and I am lucky to get a "happy birthday" from them. I've expressed my dislike of this subtlety throughout my life, but not as directly as I should have, until now. And even now I'm still not sure what to say. Additional context: they did the same shit at my wedding. We announced our engagement and my sister decided to get engaged and announce hers right after us and hold her ceremony the same year, just slightly after us. Some family came in from across the country for her wedding, but not for mine. I have a sister who was born in early January and pretends to relate, but as far as I can remember we've never had to celebrate the birth of what many people consider to be the Lord and Savior on the same day as when we celebrate her birthday. Mine on the other hand is usually a crap shoot on if I'm going to have a birthday or not. Here's how it usually plays out. We go visit my family the first weekend after Christmas. We stay at their house with my entire family, big house, many rooms, big family. The whole family is there when 28th, my birthday, rolls around. We wake up, maybe one person acknowledges my birthday and said happy birthday, and if nobody else is around, that's all I get from anyone all day. If others are around and hear them say that, they'll throw out a half-hearted, oh hey happy birthday. And then move on to talk about Christmas dinner, when we're gonna open Christmas presents, how excited we are to watch the two kids, 15 and 17, open a mountain of gifts, etc. My birthday having yet again effectively been overshadowed by that long-haired stranger from 2,000 years ago nobody has ever met. I know I sound bitter, and probably selfish, but if you knew anything about me you would know things like this don't usually bother me. For my entire life, my birthday has been smashed together with Christmas, so many celebrations, or lack of, have passed by without fazing me, many gifts have been forgotten, or worse, they do the, here's your Christmas present. It's also your birthday present, line, and so many well wishes have gone, well, unwished. Again, this stuff used to not faze me, because I was really happy with just a simple, happy birthday. That's all I would want, and it would make up for anything else. But this year my parents have almost purposefully gone out of their way to fuck things up for me. If you didn't know, Christmas this year is on Wednesday making the 28th on Saturday. It's rare that my birthday is on a Saturday but it happened like 4 or 5 years ago and it was awful, particularly because Saturday is always the chosen delayed Christmas day. My entire family was there. My wife wished me happy birthday, my parents did, I think my sister did, and that was it. The entire rest of the day, my birthday was just Christmas to everyone but my wife who went out of her way any way she could to try and make me feel special. She asked why I wasn't really that upset about it until now, and I said I guess I was just used to it my whole life but now that it's literally my family's Christmas day on my birthday, which happens every now and then, I was pretty disheartened. Watching a couple of entitled somewhat spoiled kids, who already have everything in the world, open a mountain of gifts on your birthday would probably hurt your feelings, too. So, knowing that the 28th was a Saturday this year, I told my mom when we were doing the family holiday planning, could you please try and schedule our trip to the family the weekend after Christmas/after my birthday. So we would be doing family Christmas on like New Year's or something. She said sure. I said it doesn't matter what day, just not the Saturday after Christmas, any day but my birthday. My wife even chipped in and said, he hasn't had a birthday in over 5 years, please don't plan it for his birthday again. My mom pretended to care and said she would try. She calls me a few days ago and said my sister can only get her stepson the weekend after Christmas, so we will probably break it up and they will likely go up on the 28th and we'll go on the following weekend. Fine, my entire family won't be there for Christmas, but hey I see my sister all the time, no big deal. At least I can have actual Christmas with my parents, celebrate my birthday with my wife, then go see my family the following weekend for delayed Christmas. Right? Wrong. Today I was in the neighborhood so I stopped at my parents' house. We got to talking and my mom brought up our Christmas plans. She said, hey since we are breaking it up, we're probably only going to go up once instead of both times, is that okay? Not knowing what she was getting at, I said sure, why would that be an issue? And she said, okay, so since your sister has her stepson on the 28th, we'll probably go up with her then. Already I was a little disheartened because somehow she found a way to do damn near the exact opposite of what I'd asked and organized the family Christmas to be on the 28th. But I didn't know the extent. She said she wanted to go up only the once, and she chose that one time to be with my sister, and goes on to tell me about how that's when both my uncles, my aunt, my niece and nephew and pretty much the entire family will be there. Flashbacks to my wedding silently play in my head. So quite literally, the one thing I asked for Christmas, was to be able to have a birthday, and she does the exact opposite and finds a way to make my entire family forget about my birthday, yet again. I'll be lucky if I even get a text from any of them, since they'll all be up there together without my wife and I, and we usually disregard our phones when we're up there. I know this sounds so bratty or self-absorbed. But you have to understand, I have been dealing with this shit my entire life and barely said a word. She asks me what I want in my food, I say no dairy because it sets my wife's stomach on fire. She proceeds to put dairy in everything and scold me for not being grateful. She asked one year what kind of coat I wanted and I said any classic button-up pea coat, doesn't matter, just not one with a zipper. She goes out of her way to get me a coat with a zipper so she can see if I'll be thankful enough. It's like my entire life she's purposefully done these small things just slightly messed up because she wants to, I don't know, test my gratitude or some shit? My wife describes it best when she says, your mom knows exactly what she's doing when she completely disregards your wish, just small enough so that you look like a jackass if you say anything about it, but big enough to let you know that she doesn't respect your wishes, after you were directly clear about them. So now this will be something like the 5th birthday in a row that will be ignored, overshadowed by Christmas, except this time I won't even be with my family because I made a promise to myself and to not let them rope me into another, go up for your birthday it'll be great, lie. At least I'll be with my wife, and even though we have a combined total of $50 to our name, she's promised to make my 34th birthday special, considering my 29th, 30th, 31st, 32nd and 33rd were ignored, and all the ones before that were at the very least uncelebrated. I believe her. As long as she says happy birthday, and I know she will, and as long as I get to wake up next to her, it will probably be the best birthday I've had since before the pandemic. I love that woman. For those of you who say 34 is too old to care about your birthday, fuck you, you are special no matter your age and the day you were brought into this world is very, very important. To you Christmas babies out there, though I can never truly relate, please know that you're not alone as my family makes a habit of delaying Christmas to my birthday. Say a prayer or something to that hippie who was supposed to bring about world peace or whatever, then spend the rest of the day focusing on yourself. You deserve it. Thank you for letting me vent. TLDR, my somewhat Karen of a mom asked when we could get together for family Christmas and I, for the first time in my 33 years of living, said any day but the 28th, my birthday. So they proceeded to arrange it so that the entire family is together, 4 hours away, celebrating Christmas on my birthday, a day I specifically told them that this year I wouldn't do it.
If you thought that was crazy, wait until you hear this next one.
Mom wants me to buy a house closer to hers because she doesn't like to drive 20 minutes to see her grandchild. Backstory. When I, 36, met my fiancée, 36, we hit it off very fast because we were very much on the same wavelength and by chance lived close to one another so we could easily spend lots of time together. So after just 6 months I was ready to move into her apartment with my dog, but sadly her landlord said no because of said dog. This turned out as a blessing in disguise because we realized that buying a condo would cost almost as much as buying a house considering the current market in Canada, so we ended up looking for a house. My first instinct was to search around where I grew up, where my mom is, because there's lots of parks around which made my childhood pretty awesome with friends. Very rapidly though, it became evident that our budget of $575K maximum, renovations included, would not allow it. I tried literally 100 times to explain to her that borrowing $25K from her would make a big difference in our options, but she shot me down every time and laughed at me when I insinuated we wouldn't be able to buy in her neighborhood. I never asked her for a gift, I always said that I would pay her back and the intent behind the loan was to keep us more easily above water for the first few years. So anyway, I ended up finding a home last year within our budget, shockingly on the island of Montreal, where I work, which we both thought we would never be able to find. The house is fairly old but spacious, with a backyard and with enough rooms to have 2 kids. We just got our first one. When my mom learned of this, she freaked out. I would describe for the first time in my life her attitude to be purely toxic. She hated that house and essentially said it was a mistake and proceeded to insult everything about it, and basically by proxy I guess called me a dumb idiot for buying it in all conceivable way without directly saying it. She wanted me to be 5 minutes away, but now I'm 20 minutes away, 45 during rush hours. In over a year she has only stayed for dinner once. Each time I invite her I get a no with an excuse as to why she can't make it. She often calls me on weekend for /me to come over to her place with the baby, but when I boomerang the invite back with, "Hey, it's been a while, how about you come over to my place," I'm usually told I'll see, I have gardening to do and stuffs in the backyard, and usually ends up not coming. We had brunch last weekend and I heard her complain that she doesn't see her granddaughter enough. So I pointed out to her that we said she's literally welcome to drop in at any time, not just weekends. But she said that she obviously couldn't come on weekdays because she works. My mom is 68. She has worked 45 years at the same hospital as a secretary. She's the oldest worker there and has her pension fully paid off with lots of days offs and a boss that love her. She can take an afternoon off or a day off to spend time here anytime she wants. So I pointed *that out, and she said she's not the kind of person to leave her coworkers in the dirt by taking days off. She just came back from 2 weeks vacation to Greece, but anyway. So finally I snapped back that she'll be able to see her grandchild more often the day she's not last in priority behind her coworkers, her job, her gardening, a sunny day in her backyard and a 20-minute drive. To which she seemed insulted. Current story. So yesterday, she sent me a listing for a home 5 minutes away from hers. If you're interested, there's a house for sale Francis Street for $500K. It is pretty, 3-room 2-bathroom, you can look. No? Why would we get back into that boat, looking for a new house, similar to what we already have just 1 year after buying this one? We will buy when we have enough to buy a house with a second floor, and only if we feel the house is too small with 2 kids. It has 3 rooms on the same floor, 2 bathrooms that are renovated, not quite similar since you have more money to invest, but I just wanted you to have a look. Fine, I'll mind my own business, have a good day. Are you kidding me? She wouldn't loan me $25K, and she expects me to spend $500,000 on her so that she doesn't have to drive to see her grandchildren? My father, my fiancé's family, they all live further away from her, but they all come around way more often. So anyway, that was my entitled parent story.
And now, let's see what other madness Reddit has cooked up for us.
My neighbor's kid thinks my backyard is his personal playground. So, I live in a quiet neighborhood with a decent-sized backyard that I take pride in maintaining. I have a small garden, a couple of chairs, and a hammock I love relaxing in. Lately, though, my neighbor's kid, who's about 10, has decided that my backyard is basically an extension of his home. At first, I thought it was harmless when I found him playing with my garden tools or running through the grass. I politely told him to ask me next time he wanted to play in my yard, and that was that. But it escalated quickly. One day, I came home to find him and a few of his friends having a full-on water balloon fight in my yard, without permission. When I approached them, they just laughed and said, "It's just a little fun." I asked them to leave and explained that I didn't want anyone in my yard without asking. The kid's mom then came over, furious, saying I was being overly strict and that kids just want to play. I felt bad for putting her in a tough spot, but I also have boundaries. Now I'm at a point where I don't know how to handle it without creating tension with my neighbors. Has anyone dealt with a similar situation? How did you set boundaries without coming off as the bad guy?
Here's the next story that will keep you on the edge of your seat.
A stranger asked me to teach her 6-year-old how to swim when I'm not a swimming instructor. So I originally posted this story in Am I the Asshole, but people told me to post it on this sub, so here it goes. I often go to the pool, once or twice a week, to stay in shape and to relax. I went there Saturday evening. The pool I go to has two different pools. Fun one, with slides and bubbles and things like that, mainly for children or people who just want to relax, and a real one, where people swim in lanes. In the real one, there are two sides, one for experienced swimmers that is pretty deep, around 3 to 4 meters, and one for people who are learning that is pretty shallow. It is a well-known rule that people who can't really swim well can't go in the deep part, and you can't stop or play in there. It's meant for serious swimming. I was swimming in the deep part, and while I was doing backstroke I feel my hand hit something. I turned around and saw a young kid that was 6 or 7. I told him that he shouldn't be there because people were going pretty fast and he could get hurt by other swimmers. While I was talking to him I noticed that he wasn't swimming very well, he was doing weird movements and barely keeping his head above the water. So I got out of the pool with him and looked for his mom. At this pool, parents that accompany children but don't swim can get inside without paying and just sit around the pool, which is what the mom did. We find her looking at her phone and I tell her that it was pretty dangerous for her child to be in the deep end of the pool when he didn't know how to swim well and could get hit by swimmers. She looks up, clearly annoyed, and tells me, "It's okay, he's just a kid." I told her that I wasn't upset at him, I was just concerned for his safety. She told me that if I really was concerned for his safety I would have taught him how to swim instead of making him get out, and that it would be safer for him if I taught him. I told her that that wasn't my role, but she started saying that it wasn't nice of him and that I should help a child when I saw that he was in distress. I told her that I wouldn't because 1. I'm not qualified to teach children 2. It's a huge liability and I don't want to be responsible for the boy's life 3. I don't get paid to do this and 4. I'm here to relax. She started telling me that I was selfish for not sharing my skills, that I swam well enough to teach children, that she wasn't asking for a lot of my time, that I should be happy to help other people etc. I said no again and she looked at me and said, "I can't believe this," while shaking her head. Well, I can't believe this either. She was very entitled and endangering her child.
If you thought that was crazy, wait until you hear this next one.
Mother owes me thousands of dollars and laughed in my face when I asked her to pay me back. Update: my boyfriend and I made plans with my dad for next weekend and planned to tell him then after gathering evidence. My credit is locked and I made a separate bank account ages ago. I am not sure if it's possible to change my SSN but I would like to. I am not sure how to approach this situation. My 22F mother fell victim to the trading/forex lifestyle in 2016. She didn't get a job until earlier this year, because I moved out and she wasn't able to use my paychecks anymore to pay their bills. From ages 14 to 21, she has pawned countless of my favorite items, Xbox, my KitchenAid mixer, etc. I was only told once I found out. In addition to this, she has taken all of the money that relatives sent to me for birthdays, Christmas, and graduation during those years. She was routinely siphoning my paychecks as well. Setting up those quick app loans in my name. I received my first credit card at age 18, she ran it up over the limit and didn't pay it back. I am still unable to apply for any credit card that isn't secured. Throughout all of this she promised to pay me back. Of course I believed her, it's my mom. After a while I stopped keeping track of all of the money she's borrowed, but I know it totals $5,000 plus. We had an arrangement where I told her instead of paying me back, she could buy me a car, which she had been promising since I was 16. Last week I told her I had been looking at cars and she seemed enthusiastic, excited to help. Well, I called her yesterday to let her know I found a car and asked how she was going to contribute. She laughed in my face and told her she wasn't paying for anything. I said okay, well, give me the thousands you owe me. She laughed again and told me she didn't have any. Earlier in the conversation she told me she had $4,000 put away. I understood that she's finally catching up on all of their debt after trading, gambling, all of these years, but do I not deserve any form of compensation? I kept the secret debt from my dad all of this time, so he thinks I'm a lazy freeloader only child who just wants my parents to pay for everything, not knowing how I sacrificed my teenage years just to keep the house afloat. I am finally raising my credit score and accumulating my own savings now, but I genuinely don't know how to move past this or approach the situation with my family. I was pretty much my mom's therapist during this time, which makes me feel more emotionally guilty for asking for the money back or telling my family the truth. I have no idea what to do. I don't even need the money, but I can't let go of the resentment I feel, especially when I see other parents doing/paying everything they can to support their child.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wild stories. Have a fantastic day, and see you next time. Ooh, ah, ah.